humor consumers, to the Life Happens, Laugh Anyway podcast. I'm comedian Tracy DeGraff.
I'm Catherine, co-host and bestie.
Welcome to the Pod Lab, Catherine.
Thank you.
It's a mess in here.
Well, our little spot here is nice and tidy.
It's the same, but we're remodeling in here again. This house is always under construction, so I'm looking at a shop vac, I'm looking at plywood, I'm looking at boxes. It's everywhere. So anyway, just got that out of the way.
Distracting.
It is. And it's hot. I want the air on.
Oh, are you hot?
I'm hot.
Oh.
Oh,
Oh my gosh.
Wait.
She's having a
hold on.
fake flash. There you go.
Oh, I had to open the window.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's so much nicer. Anyway, just
you
the
can
lights.
pop yours
and-
open
no,
if you
well,
want.
it's too far.
Oh. Okay, welcome. We're ready for this episode. Today has been a crazy day, friends, because my mother-in-law had surgery this morning, so I've been up since, 3:30. And we had to be out the door really early and pick her up and get her. Anyway, we're back now. So we are recording. And welcome to episode 236.
Woo.
I know, so excited. And the title of today's episode is A Look into Amish Culture. We've never talked about this.
No, we have not.
And guess what? This was a suggestion
yeah,
of our friend and our
Karren.
sponsor, Karren. So thank you, Karren,
good
for
friend Karren.
contacting us and suggesting that we cover or that we look into this topic. And with that said, I want to encourage anybody listening, if you have a topic that you think would be interesting for us to research and bring to all of our listeners, please email us. You can send an email to me, Tracy at tracydegraff.com. Do that.
There you go.
All right. Catherine, if somebody's listening for the first time, give them a quick summary of how they too can contact us and become a sponsor.
They could go to Life Happens, laughanywaypodcast.com.
That's it.
Follow the prompts, and then just go ahead and donate whatever is laid upon your heart.
And typically, most of our donors give us $5 a month. And so when you get there to the webpage, you'll see where you can just give $5 monthly, and it's a recurring donation. You won't even notice it's coming out, I'm telling you.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can give a one lump sum.
Right.
You want to give us $1,000? We'll take it immediately, and we will get some video editors in here, and we'll have our podcast on YouTube.
Yeah.
Okay, that's done. All right, here's the outline of what we're going to go over today. So if you stick with us through this episode, this is what you should get out of it. We're going to talk about what are the Amish? What is that?
Yeah. What's their background?
How did it get started, the history of it, things like that. Just some interesting facts there. We're going to do a review of several documentaries about the Amish. And full disclosure, Catherine did all the research because I was busy with my mother-in-law and this and that and this and that. So I'm sorry, friend.
That's fine.
I'm just like a wet fish over here today. But I will do my best to keep up. Do you know what I did right before you got here? I knew that she was like on her way.
You seemed a little bit stressed when I got here.
I was watching an Amish like movie thing, and
Yeah.
I was trying to get it in before you got here.
Yeah.
So I sped it up. You know that you can do that on YouTube. You
Yeah.
can speed it up to like 2 times the speed.
Where they
So-
sound like mice talking.
So I'm trying to listen to this guy talk about how they don't use technology.
And yet there he is on the camera.
Yeah, going a mile a minute. So it didn't work. Anyway, we are both going to share our own experiences with Amish, and then we have some fun facts. And as always, we have some inspirational scripture to share with you at the end, as well as a call to action.
Good.
So, Catherine, give us the breakdown.
Yeah. By the way, I still
Yeah.
don't have the email. So, but I never go along with your outline anyway. So, well, I don't. I mean, you know.
Okay, we're good.
Yeah. Anyway, so to talk about their origin and their history, they were, a group over in Europe, traditionalists from the, Christian church, believed in fellowship, and they have roots in this is just a quick summary, Anabaptist origins, and then they had this movement that was forming like Protestant Reformation. And then the Anabaptists had a radical reformation. And they, their belief was, in short, that adults would be baptized, some between the ages of like 16 and 24, rather than infant baptism. So there was a split, and as we all know, that all different religions came over to the U.S. because of persecution. Well, here they could practice a religion, and so they settled in the Pennsylvania area mostly. And the Amish name came from Jacob Almond was his name. He lived from 1644 to 1730. He was a Swiss Anabaptist leader, and he was part of that, split and all the such, and who formed the Amish. So they're rooted in the Bible. They tend to interpret it literally, or live by it literally, or at least try to. And so it would be the Bible plus Ordnung. And Ordnung is it's a bunch of rules. They're written rules, and mostly they address how one should dress, technology use, and social behavior. So that's a quick where their roots are. And they put a high value in family and community. They live lives, they are educated, most of them up to, I don't know if it's 8th grade or high school, they're different, but then they will take on maybe an apprenticeship, but they want to rely on themselves. They don't want to rely on the government. They don't pay into Social Security, but then again, they don't have Medicare, Medicaid, whatever.
How do they get around that?
Well, because they're not reaping, they're not
in the workforce.
Right.
Okay.
So they're not, but now they have businesses. So they have bakeries, they have, construction, and they have crafting, building furniture and all, things. And they even work in, on the campers and such. But
so they pay taxes, but they just don't.
Yeah, they pay taxes, but they don't pay into Social Security. They don't fight for the army. They do believe in upholding the government. Like, they do believe in honoring the government because that's what the Bible says, but they don't contribute to Social Security, and they don't use from it either. So,
that's curious to me, though, because then, first of all, there's a lot of different types of Amish. It's not just one brand of Amish. Just like you can't say that all churches are the same. Mm-hmm. All Amish are definitely not the same. Mm-hmm. And then even within a group, any group, a church or an Amish community, any group, you can have some people that follow all the things, and then some people that certainly don't.
Yeah.
And so I would imagine that there are some people out there who are either former Amish or whatever, who are taking advantage of whatever they need or have to in their elder years if they're not connected with the community anymore. I would imagine that the community would take care of their own if they have elderly people who need services, right? Like if they need medical care, or if they need a house, a roof over their head or food on their table, I would hope that the community would take care.
Well, that's why they do what they do. It's the community. So, some Christians have Medishare.
Yeah.
Well, that's how the Amish operate. They pool their money together, and they do have hospital care. I reached out to Tara, who I used to work for, and but Tara and Dan, who owned the store that I used to work in, all of our furniture, the wood furniture, was built by the Amish. So we got to meet them, we got to interact with them, we got to ask questions. And the family who I worked for, their kids and their family used to play with the Amish kids. And the little Amish kids would speak in Dutch, or Pennsylvania Dutch. And their kids couldn't, understand them. But anyway, the point is that, where was I going with that? There was something that you had said.
I mentioned about how the community would take care of.
Mm-hmm. Right. So community was definitely a very important part of their lives. And I know what I was going to say. So one family, I know, their child had cancer, and they would take them to the South Bend Hospital for treatment every 2 weeks. So they definitely use medical care, but they pay for it on their own.
Yeah, collectively with the community. They don't, not individually.
I don't know. I just know that they do have. It's like we have Medishare. Well, not me, but Christians have Medishare. So yeah,
that's a collection of people.
Right.
It's not one person paying. You all pay for everybody.
Yeah.
So it's not that much different than health insurance, because that's like a collection of people paying a premium and a deductible to get your bills paid. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. Sounds good.
Yeah. So where did I leave off? So that's just like their normal values and way of living.
Yeah.
Like a quick overview.
Yeah, you gave that one word, the German word or whatever, for living it out, the rules on a something.
The rules. It's called Ordnung.
Ordnung.
Mm-hmm.
That piece of it is... It's a double-edged sword in a way, because it's admirable that people are living out their faith. That's an admirable thing. Mm-hmm. However, the legalism is where it gets me. Like, I really don't like legalism.
Well, and that's why some people choose to leave. In fact, we knew of, when I say we, the folks who I worked for, and the one of the Amish builders that we were working with, he and his family did leave the Amish faith, and they in their case they were shunned. So not every Amish community shuns, but they were, and so that was that was really difficult. He also either couldn't pay his employees anymore, or they couldn't receive money from him. So I think
he lost his business.
Either that, or he had to refocus.
Okay, so there's another piece of it that I really don't like. Mm-hmm. If you said to me, like, what are your basic opinions of the Amish community? I would say they make good furniture, which they do. They have amazing food. They do. Mm-hmm. I do not like the legalism, and I don't like this shunning practice. And I know you just said that some do, some don't. Mm-hmm. I really don't like that.
Well, I mean, who would? But from what I understand, let's see, I have some information on the shunning, and it's actually rare, according to some things that I looked into, and the church tries to first give the, I guess, offender a chance to correct, and come back to the faith and confess. And then if they still choose to do whatever it is they're doing, then they're shunned. It's not,
I just don't see that kind of a practice as something that would imitate Christ, or that would share the love of God with people. Yeah. I really don't, because we're not shunned by God. We're not shunned by Jesus. Do you remember The Office when Dwight Schrute,
I love that.
He would just go shun and then unshun, talk to Jim, and then shun him again.
So funny, because I think his character had
he had German roots, Mennonite roots or something. Yes.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I just really have a big issue with that, because I love connection, and I love redemption, and I love forgiveness, and I love relationships, and I really don't like that there's people on the planet whose solution to whatever the problem is shunning.
I know, and I agree with you. I mean, no, I don't think anybody really likes it. They don't like it even. I mean, I saw several video clips of ex-Amish. I saw documentaries, and they don't like it either. They don't. Then families...
that makes even less sense. Mm-hmm. That they don't like it, but they just keep doing it because it's so baked in the cake and steeped in tradition. Mm-hmm. This is the way we've always done it. This is the way we have to do it. This is what the book says. We have to follow the book.
They're concerned that... So what the Amish try to do is live in the world but not of the world. And if somebody in their family or community is doing something that's of the world, say they're playing video games, or say they're, just doing something that taints others, that's what their thinking is going to. Now we know that that's going to happen. We're human beings. We're all going to sin, and in our Christian faith, we don't love the sin, but we love the sinner, and we just, we pray, we help, we encourage, we do what we can. Because they believe that they have to live, like I said, in the world, but not of the world. They're afraid that that the offender is gonna bring in more sin.
Yeah,
it's gonna taint everybody.
I'm sure that they're afraid too. I mean, obviously, they've maintained a culture over a very long period of time,
hundreds of years, and they're growing.
And that's even with the invent of air conditioning, I might add.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm Amish, okay, and then all of a sudden I go to my friend's house and there's some AC,
well,
I'm being shunned.
They're in AC.
I don't care.
When they go to work.
I want the air conditioning, Catherine.
I know. And so for 20 years, we went to Shipshewana for 20 years because my parents had a place right near the Amish, and they lived all over in Indiana. That's another high concentration place, especially LaGrange, Indiana, which Shipshewana is not too far from. And those people, and I can't tell the difference between Mennonite and Amish, but I do know that Amish were there. We always read their stuff, and went to their shops and stores. They're working in air-conditioned stores. So they go home to, I'm assuming, no air. Because they as far as electricity, they can use it for their business. They can use battery-operated things, generator-operated things, cell phones for business, but keep it in the barn, that, or in their shop, that kind of thing. So that they were not relying on it, but they know they can't compete with the rest of the world. Right. If they don't, they have to make a living.
Yeah.
So,
well, kudos to them for keeping this stuff up all these years. I'm surprised that they even exist, to be honest.
I think that's why we're doing this. It's so different than us, and it's so amazing. It's worth the conversation. It's worth doing a podcast on it, because how do they do that? Like you said, for hundreds of years, they've been like this way, and we're in 2025, and we're so advanced, and like you just mentioned, air conditioning, and like, how do they... Yeah. And one thing that always baffled me was they see the English, which is what you and I are. Right. Anybody outside of Amish is English. And they see what we have, the cars go whizzing by, those horse and buggies. Like,
sometimes they get into wrecks and stuff. And bad things happen. What about refrigeration?
Yeah, there are some that it just depends on how extreme they are. Some, no, you can't have it. I doubt that there's many left that don't have refrigeration and freezers and such, because
but then what do they plug them into? A generator? They would have to plug it into something.
Yeah, I know.
And then, well, anyway, okay.
I don't know that, but I do know that. So I also reached out to my daughter's friend is dating very seriously a young man whose family used to be Mennonite. And that family, she told me, or she gave me this information, that they swing from ultra-conservative, from only black cars, only with radios taken out, and making their own conservative clothes, wearing hair coverings for women, to ultra-liberal Mennonites, which completely embrace everything of the modern world's ways and behavior. Homosexuality being one of the behaviors they do not believe is wrong. And it goes on and on. So it really can swing, with Mennonite and Amish in terms of the man-made rules that they have.
Yeah.
So And that was another thing that I saw online too, with different interviews and documentaries. It's each family or each community can be different. So,
Well, right, because there's so many different Amish orders, sects, whatever you want to call it. I want to talk just for a second about the beds.
the what?
Those beds, those cuddle beds or whatever they were.
Oh, yeah, I don't know anything about that.
Okay, but did you see the bed? It's got like a board in the middle of it.
I know you and Karren said something about it, but I didn't see it in the documentary. But then again, I was mostly listening to it rather than watching it.
Okay, so picture a bed.
Yeah.
And then a beautifully made bed.
Oh.
And then there's this big board in between where down the middle, split down the middle.
Are you talking about when they have Rumspringa?
What? What's Rumspringa?
I might not be saying it right, but that's how it looks. It's when the teenagers turn a certain age. I don't know if it's 14 or 16, and they decide whether or not they're going to stay Amish or not. And if they decide to stay, they get baptized and they stay in the Amish faith. But if they don't, then they don't. And I think in some cases they're shunned. But they go out and they just sow their oats. And I think that's where the cuddle bed comes into play.
I'm not exactly sure how it comes into play, but yeah, that's it.
Because it literally means running around. Rumspringa.
Oh, boy. That's what I mean. It's like, to me, it seems very a lack of grace, a lack of freedom. Because obviously when God created mankind, he gave mankind free will to love him and follow him or not.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
And
that's exactly right.
When Jesus came, he came to free all mankind from the law, because
Exactly.
the law came to show us that we can't keep the law.
Yeah.
It's impossible to keep the law.
Exactly.
And that was the purpose of the law.
Yeah.
And Jesus came. This is the gospel, everybody.
Yeah.
This is it. This is the gospel. We were created for relationship with God, but he gave us the choice. We don't have to do it if we don't want to. And he showed us that we can't do it by works.
Right.
It's impossible. That's what that was the purpose of the Levitical law, okay, was to show us that we're incapable of keeping all these rules. And that's what that reminds me of, all this law, whatever it is.
It is.
Okay,
Yeah.
hold there. But then Jesus comes into the picture and he says, now I free you from the law. The grace that I give to you covers you now. You don't the law is done. So that freedom in Christ is the part of this Amish religion that I feel is lacking when they lump all these rules on people.
It's the same with any religion that adds rules.
Well, yeah. With the legalism.
Right. Exactly. So, yeah, I mean, it is problematic. But, I should say, and they have a choice.
They do, but they don't. Because it's such a like we can be in a family and we can choose or not choose to follow Christ, but we're not separated from the family totally,
No, but wouldn't you say though that there are families in the Christian world who do take issue with, say, a family member who has chosen Christ, and they separate themselves in so many ways. It's not a shunning, but it's certainly, Jesus said, he said, I will always cause division. He said, I will be the reason. I can't remember the exact scripture, but we do know
you're going to suffer. There's some suffering and there's some persecution of Christians. I get it. I just don't like that their religion is based on the rules, because that's the whole point of Jesus.
I know.
And his sacrifice.
Yeah.
It's the grace.
Yeah.
You have been saved grace through faith. Gift of God. It's not from yourself. It's not by works.
Right.
So that no one can boast. Anyway. Okay, let's continue on.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, I don't know. Just, add rules that they think are going to keep people more pure, And
I think there's good motive in the rules.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, if the family wants to make sure that a loved one stays the course, right? With the religion, they're going to have this punishment, this shunning or whatever. Well, okay, I get it that they want to prevent that one from, straying away. But the cost of that can be so great.
Yeah. Exactly. I know.
Okay, and what else from your research did you want to share?
Well, one thing, and it just seems a little bit random, but there's this whole thing about pictures. And I always heard, like, when we were in Shipshawana, the thing was, don't take pictures of them. They can't be in pictures. I think it's different everywhere. But the thing with pictures, why they can't hang pictures of each other, and I don't know, there's all this stuff. Because they have a misconception of understanding that we're not supposed to have any graven images.
They consider a picture a graven image?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like
an idol?
Yes.
Okay.
Like if you have a picture on the wall of someone, or you're
that's
holding a
cuckoo
picture
for Cocoa Puffs.
Well, I know, but
that is cuckoo. That's cuckoo beans.
Well, I know it. I think it is too. Don't get me wrong. I absolutely do. But then I'm kind of mindful of some of the things that Christians like you and I believe other people think that's cuckoo.
Like what? What do we do that is cuckoo, Catherine? Give me one thing.
I can't.
One thing.
Well,
come on.
I think that some people think that just going to church all the time is cuckoo, or tithing is cuckoo. There are people that criticize tithing. There are people that criticize, modest dressing in church. And why can't you just wear anything? Come as you are. That's, there's a lot. There's a real lot.
I suppose you're right. I see your point. Because even though we don't have a rule that you have to, dress appropriately.
Yeah, it's not a what's it called? Ordnung. It's not that, but it's an unspoken thing that some people in the Christian community believe you should dress up to go to church. Others are like, that's bats. I'm not going to dress like, So and then even hymns. Some people
that's true.
I don't believe in raising hands and praising the Lord. And then others are, way up. So
it's the human condition.
Yeah.
We're bent towards sin and self. And so we truly desire, I think that you and I desire to do right, by God. However, we have that darn flesh that we have to fight in battle.
Right.
So you walk this weird line of, I'm living in Christ. I am not my own. I was bought by the blood of Christ, right? I've been crucified with Christ. I no longer live. Christ lives in me. The life I live in the body, I live through faith in the Son of God who loved me, gave himself for me. All of that. But at the same time, you do that and you walk in the flesh. So you have your own opinions. You have your own perspective. And you make up your own excuses of why this, that. I do it too.
Yeah, we all do it. We're all judging and assessing all the time.
Yes, we are.
All of us are.
Yes, we are.
We're not exempt from that just because we're Christians.
I think we're even more so doing things like that. Seriously.
You think?
Yes. The Christian evangelical churches, like in the Christian world, we really want to do the right thing. And so we will analyze and psychoanalyze and double analyze things to make sure that, are we doing the right thing? And there's so much care and caution. Admirable.
The bottom line is we want to honor God. How we do it can differ.
Yeah.
And that's just like I was saying with hands in the air, no hands in the air. Singing hymns, not singing hymns. Dressing certain way. Women preaching in church, women not preaching.
Exactly.
There's all kinds of things.
And, you and I had this conversation off the podcast in terms of describing it like flavors of ice cream. There are certain things within our faith that don't matter to the degree of division. It's just sort of 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. Or as somebody recently described it to us, it's like you have an ice cream store. and you have all of its ice cream, but it's just which flavor. Okay, so there's minor differences.
Yeah, they
It's-
all have sugar.
It's still all ice cream, still delicious.
Even the ones
what's
that
your
don't
favorite?
say they have added sugar, they got sugar.
They do. Otherwise, they taste like.
Yeah.
By the way, you saw me the one day when I went up for communion and I accidentally got into the gluten-free line.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. When I had that gluten-free
Yeah.
wafer, I wanted to spit it out. I was like, that is
So
terrible.
funny.
And I made a face. But you know why I went in that line? There was nobody in the line. And I felt bad for the minister or whatever
saw
who
you.
was standing there. And I was
all alone. Nobody's
Yes.
getting from him.
That's exactly how I felt. I was like, oh, and I didn't pay attention to anything else.
They should have a little tag or something that says gluten-free or something.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree because then, the following week or whatever, I was helping volunteer and I was the one with the gluten-free, and this woman came up to me and she took it and she
Judy.
made the face.
Yeah.
And I go, yeah, it's gluten-free.
Surprise, surprise.
But it's still communion.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah.
mercy. All right, where were we? Sorry, I got off the track.
No, I was just talking about
We were talking about differences.
graven images. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else from the documentaries that you wanted to pop in here?
No. I didn't really talk about the documentaries. You know why? Because I watched so many, I can't remember all the details.
Well,
the one
you got
that
general
Karren,
knowledge out of it.
Oh yeah, the one Karren
Good for
sent
you.
was with Ephraim and I forget the name of the wife, but anyway, yeah, it was very interesting, and they broke off from the Amish community because exactly that, the rules, and I think that the young man had an issue which I absolutely agree with, because the Amish community that he was in, they didn't study the Bible.
Yeah.
And they just got their word from the, I forget now, there's a certain hymnal book that's like German roots. And so they sing that, they all sing that, but the Bible is like a German Bible and a lot of them don't understand it.
All right. I would imagine.
So anyway, yeah. So that's what that documentary kind of focused on, that couple. It was really interesting.
It is it's a fascinating, interesting way of life. No question about it. When you go through these areas of the country that have the Amish there, Ron and I were in the Shipshewana area in the winter a few years ago. We went for a weekend away where they were having like ice sculptures and blah, blah, blah.
Yep, they do that, yeah.
Yeah, and we saw their jeans hanging
Yeah,
on the line
stiff.
in January
Yeah.
in Indiana.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's how they dry. I don't even get that because it freezes.
Yeah.
And now it's super stiff, so
I
they got to
know.
bring it somewhere to get it warmed up. I don't know.
We saw that all the time because we didn't just go up to the cottage in the summer. We went all season long. We'd go in the winter, and yes, it was amazing. Like there were laundry out on the line, and then some of the horse and buggies are not enclosed, so they like the little kids that are in there. I'm like, oh my gosh, you gotta be freezing. And it is amazing. It's just really something to, I don't know.
Right. And you do
Amazing.
have questions.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
you have questions like how do they handle this, that. So
Well, they used to have at the Shipshewana stores, they had big magazine brochures that you could get and you could just read about them, which I did, but it was so long ago, you know. And
But you know what I've never seen from the Amish is them trying to recruit people into their life.
they don't do
They
that.
probably do the opposite. Like they don't really want people to be to their thing.
Well, I think they're really concerned about the outside world and the English. But here's the difference too between like cult, like in the Amish community, you're born into it,
Right, obviously.
Whereas like cults are, they prey upon broken people and impressionable people and lure them in.
Right.
That's not like the Amish don't do that. That's one of the differences, you know. So.
Yeah, because you and I had talked about this previously, that I really looked at the Amish as like a cult. And I felt that way because of the shunning practice. I really loathe that practice of any human being doing that. I think is just wrong. So I get it that they're not technically a cult.
No.
You know, and
Oops.
obviously they're free to do whatever. And guess what? If the grid goes, like they all say, we're all going to be friends with the Amish.
Well, that's another thing too. I got to say this. I watched one that was post-pandemic
Okay.
interview with an Amish guy, and he's like, "Yeah, it was tough with our bakery and our he had a construction business."
Yeah.
And he said, "But we're self-reliant, so we don't have to worry about being off the grid or cut off from the rest of the world, because
Right.
now they do, like, we see them all the time at Walmart. And when you live in the Midwest, though, you have all kinds of weather, so it's harder to preserve all of your fruits and vegetables, and
Yeah.
potatoes. So they do shop for things. But yeah, that was interesting to see his perspective about the pandemic. They weren't really affected. I mean, they were, but not like we were. Like, we were like, oh my gosh, we can't even, it was just different, as you know. I don't even want to go down that road. But I do have to say, too, so my friend who I used to work for, and they had relationship with the Amish, she said to me, we, meaning her and her husband and family, have high regard and high respect for them. And their
business world and such. And
well, and like I said, their families got together. Right. And so she said that that they had a lot of questions about their Christian faith. And so they traded, like
traditions and such.
Yeah. And so she had said that. So
it is fascinating. Truly it is.
Mm-hmm.
You had some true or false.
Oh, yes.
Let's do that.
Didn't you have something too, though, right?
I do. So I don't know if you want to do both or you just want to do yours.
You do yours. I want to see if
you can get them.
Yeah.
Okay, mine is, I found this quiz online. It's called How Amish Are You? Okay, so it's a trivia quiz. So I'll just quiz you and see if you get these.
Okay.
All right, what would be your preferred mode of transportation if you're Amish, okay? Would it be horse and carriage, a moped, a scooter, a limo, or a snowboard?
Horse and carriage.
Okay. We're going to get the answers at the end.
Yeah.
Okay, the beliefs and practices of the Amish were based on the writings of the founder of the Mennonite faith. What was their name? Ezekiel Wentenier, Jebediah Malang, Phelak Poigny, Menno Simons, or Delio Hunget?
Well, I only know of Jacob Amon, but what was the first one? It sounded German.
Ezekiel Wentenier.
Let's do that one.
All right, that's a total guess. Where did the Amish initially settle? Was it Illinois, Pennsylvania, Iowa? Oh, I didn't name the rest of them. Okay, membership in the Old Order Amish Mennonite Church and other Amish denominations is at what total? Is it one number, or is it 78,000, 110,000, 180,000, or 170,000?
Members of the Amish.
The Old Order Amish Mennonite.
The Old Order, I don't know, but I do know that they have over 330,000.
So should I pick the biggest number?
Yeah.
Okay, 180,000. Because of the Amish restricted gene pool. Oh, yeah.
False.
Really?
Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Well, it says here, because of the Amish restricted gene pool, what is happening? Several inherited disorders, reduced IQ in children, women give birth to bees, they lose government funding, they have a bad judgment of hats.
That's dumb.
I don't get that question.
First of all, they don't use government handouts anyway. I don't really...
Let's just not answer that question. Let's see what happens. Okay. What was the birthplace of this religion? Was it Switzerland, England, Germany, Italy, or America?
Germany.
Okay. What is the sacred text of the Amish? Yokrikal Flatyama, Dummy's Guide to Beekeeping, the Bible, the Quran, or the Piswari Nan?
The Bible.
The Bible. Do the Amish like the government? No, not really, or yes?
Well, yes, but they don't want to rely on the government.
Okay, we'll just say yes. What kind of hat does an Amish male wear? One with corks hanging off of it, a wide brim hat, a skull cap, a beanie, or a Von Dutch cap to the side?
Gosh, because they said that every faction is different on how they should wear their hats.
Really?
Yes. So
I did not know that.
they have different ways of wearing their beards. They can't have mustaches.
They're like a gang. Seriously.
Well, they're an Amish gang. Rock me, I'm a Damish. I'm a Damish. I'm a Damish.
Let's just guess. Wide brim. Keep the sun off
What
their
was
face.
the other one, though?
One with corks hanging off
No.
of it, wide brim, skull cap, beanie, or Von Dutch cap to the side.
Yeah, wide brim.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is an Amish person's favorite pastime? Beekeeping, bungee jumping, cricket, pot holding, or lawn bowls? I would say beekeeping. I don't know.
Lawn bowls.
All right. What is the purpose of the Amish Ordnung? To outline rules and traditions for daily life, to determine when Rumspringa begins, to organize Sunday church services, or to keep track of community funds.
First one.
The rules and traditions for daily life. What did you say? Oh, here it is. What is Rumspringa? Because I was just going to say, what did you say Rumspringa is? Mm-hmm. It's a harvest festival, a time when Amish, these are multiple choice, okay? Either the first one is a harvest festival or a time when Amish youth decide whether to join the church.
That one.
Let's read the rest of them.
Okay, go ahead.
A tradition of building new barns or a yearly celebration of simplicity. Okay, so you say it's a time when the youth can decide whether or not to join the church. Mm-hmm. So at that age, though, they're not old enough to really live in the outside world independently. They're 16, they're still a minor. They're not able to earn money to put a roof over their head and all of that. So what if one of them decides they don't want to join the church? Mm-hmm. What happens to them?
Yeah, there's been a lot of TV shows about Rumspringa.
Okay.
And film of them running wild. Because that's literally what it means. Running, I think it means running wild.
Okay.
Yeah, running around is what it means. And I didn't really watch them. I remember when they used to be on, but I don't know, because even when they work at a young age. In fact, that's one of the things that my Ellis's friend said. She's like, their family work at a young age and they work hard. But from what I understand, these young people, they can't keep that money until they turn a certain age. That money goes to the parents. So, yeah, that's a good question. I don't know what they do when they're out in the world at such a young age. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think that is really fair, like a fair choice. Okay, would you like to stay here with us where you have food and shelter and health care and family and all of this? Or you're free to leave if you want, but you're on your own.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
that's very hard.
Whatever.
Right.
All right.
But they get married at a young age, too. A lot of them do.
Well, I imagine so.
Yeah.
I imagine so. Okay, there's just a few more. Why do the Amish reject electricity from the public grid? Number one, they don't believe in modern light. It's against the Ordnung to have light indoors, to avoid dependence on the outside world, or because it's too expensive.
To avoid dependence on the outside world.
Okay, now that, you got to give it to them. That's actually smart. Okay, what is the main purpose of an Amish barn raising? To build a barn quickly as a community effort, to bless a new farm with a religious ceremony, to compete for the most impressive structure. Okay, that's just a dumb answer in there, because this is the most humble, or seems like the most humble community. Okay, so it's not that one. Or to celebrate harvest and with music and food. It's number one.
Okay.
Right? To build a barn quickly as a community effort. Isn't that the reason they would do a barn raising?
For community? What was the first answer?
Well, the question is, what is the main purpose of an Amish barn raising? Okay. And the first answer is to build a barn quickly as a community effort.
I guess it's that, yeah.
That's what I would think.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What do Amish men typically wear as a part of their traditional attire? Robes with sashes, denim jeans and t-shirts, brightly embroidered tunics, plain suits, wide-brimmed hats, and suspenders.
Suspenders.
Yeah. Which type of furniture is often handcrafted by the Amish? Simple, sturdy, wooden furniture, inflatable furniture, modern furniture, plastic chairs and tables. Oh,
Yeah.
duh, number one. Simple, sturdy, wooden furniture. What language is commonly spoken in Amish homes? Old Latin, Pennsylvania Dutch.
Pennsylvania Dutch.
I'm not done yet.
Go on.
High German or English only? What say you?
Pennsylvania Dutch.
Okay,
Trying
Pennsylvania.
to save people time.
Pennsylvania Dutch it is. What does the Amish principle of Gelassenheit?
Bless you.
Gelassenheit. What does that emphasize, this Gelassenheit? It's submission and humility before God, hard work and wealth accumulation. Hard work and no, it's not that. Joy through community celebrations, freedom to choose one's own path.
3.
Joy through community? Mm-hmm. Are you sure?
No.
I think it's number 1, submission and humility before God.
But what's it called again?
It's
Guy.
Gelassenheit.
I don't know.
You want me to put 3? The joy through community celebrations?
They put such an emphasis on family and community. That's why I picked it.
But they put more of an emphasis on pain and suffering.
No,
and...
they don't.
Yes, they do.
They do not.
Submission, humility. You don't
They
think
do
it's
it with
painful
humility.
and suffering to go without electricity?
Not to them.
Okay, let's do joy. Let's do joy, fine. Okay. Why don't the Amish use photographs? Photos are seen as a form of vanity. They think cameras are too expensive. They lack access to cameras. They believe photos capture the soul.
It's actually all of those, according to what I saw. So,
Which one most it describes
vanity.
it? All right, so let's put that one. All right, this is the last question. What is an Amish church service like? Centered around musical instruments and modern hymns, focused on private prayer and silent worship, held in a dedicated church building with a steeple, informal, and held in families' homes or a barn.
In families' homes, it's a 3-hour thing, and when they worship, they sing without music, and they have prayer.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I just hit the button. You had 14 out of 20 questions right. And it says, how Amish are you? You're almost Amish. It says, well, now butter my bread, call it churned, and pour yourself a glass of fresh milk. You're practically Amish already. Your knowledge of Amish traditions is impressive, and it's clear you've got a strong grasp on their beliefs, customs, and way of life. You probably know your way around a barn raising and can identify the purpose of Gelassenheit. We must have been right on that one. And might even be able to name a few key Pennsylvania Dutch phrases. Okay, I'm skipping. Let's see which ones did we get wrong. Don't they give the answers? Oh, yeah. Okay. So the preferred mode of transportation was correct, horse and carriage. The beliefs and practices of the Amish were based on the writings of the founder. That was a total guess anyway. The actual answer was Menno Simons. Pennsylvania was correct. That's where they kind of originated here. Mm-hmm. Your answer was correct with how many Amish are there? 180,000, according to this. This one was wrong, number 5. Because of the Amish restricted gene pool. Oh, we didn't even answer that one. Duh. Okay. Where was the birthplace of this religion? Actually, they said, unfortunately, you did not pick the right answer because the right answer is Switzerland. And you said Germany. So maybe the Swiss started something. Okay, the sacred text, yes.
Oh, yeah. I even have that written down. Swiss Anabaptist. Oh,
yeah. Well, it's right there next to them.
Well, in German, they're just steeped in German stuff.
Right. It was probably the German faction or whatever that brought it here. And so that's our thing. Based on the Bible, that one was correct. Number 8, do the Amish like the government? We said yes. Unfortunately, it's not really, but they don't have anything against them, but still. Okay, the wide brim hat, we said that was correct. The favorite pastime, we kind of guessed because it was either beekeeping, cricket, lawn bowls. It was beekeeping. It was supposed to be beekeeping. The purpose of the Ordnung, that was correct, to outline rules and traditions. What is Remspringa? That was correct, time for the youth to go wild and free. Why do the Amish reject electricity? Correct, to avoid dependence on the outside world. The purpose of the barn raising? Correct, to build community and get a barn up as fast as you can. What do Amish men typically wear? Correct, plain suits, suspenders, blah, blah, blah.
Even when they're working in construction, like we used to be at the lake.
Yeah.
And here we are in the lake, in our swimsuits, and you look up and they're working on the roof of a house, and boys and men in their suspenders and all their clothes. I think their clothes, they look like wool, like their pants.
I can't imagine it.
And they're out there hammering and like, oh gosh, that looks awful.
They're into suffering, Catherine. Anyway, we said the furniture is handcrafted. Yes, that was correct. What language is commonly spoken in Amish homes? Correct, Pennsylvania Dutch. Here's the one. What is the Amish principle of Gelassenheit? Mm-hmm. That was the one we were kind of debating. You said it was joy through community celebrations, and I said that it was submission and humility to God, and I was correct.
I could tell by the way you're
smiling,
leading with it.
I'm being so humble.
You said.
You said this.
I said
this.
I could tell what was coming.
Well, anyway, they do have, obviously, community celebrations, and they do have joy.
They did. It is a high priority.
But they're huge into submission and humility.
Yeah.
The photograph thing, answer was correct. They see it as a form of vanity. And then the final one, the answer was correct. The Amish church service is a quiet, home-based situation. So there you go.
We used to see them traveling to one another's homes on Sundays.
Oh, that was fun.
Yeah, that was really good.
All right. Anything else you wanted to add? Fun facts?
No,
all right.
no.
Well, let's share some inspiration. Romans 12. I didn't pull it up. I'm sorry. I'm going to pull it up right now. Romans 12, verse 2. And it says this: do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will test and approve what the will of God is, his good, pleasing, and perfect will. So,
there you go.
We chose that scripture, I think, because it most speaks to us in terms of, yes, we are called to live in this world because here we are. God, thank God I'm here today and not when there was no air conditioning. So I would be miserable and everybody around me would know it. So we're supposed to conform to God, be transformed from flesh to spirit, right? And we can only do that through Jesus. And just like I described earlier when I was sharing the gospel message, that's the key. And that's why this podcast exists, really, is to share that good news with you all, with all you listeners, that if you're feeling like, like you're a foreigner, like you're an alien in this world, it's because you are. It's because you're supposed to be in a perfect world. We were created for perfect connection and relationship with God, and sin broke that connection. Jesus gives us an opportunity to bring it back. So put your faith in Christ, move on with him, and that's really going to be your biggest problem will be solved. We say that all the time. And then the other problems don't seem quite as big.
Yeah.
Okay, our call to action is really don't judge.
Yeah.
Don't judge other people's religion. I did it before we did this podcast. I was thinking that the Amish were really a cult because of their shunning practices, which I abhor. But don't judge, because you know what? God is the judge. He alone.
That is true. That is true.
It is. All right. Well, thanks for listening. You've been listening to the Life Happens, Laugh Anyway podcast. I'm still comedian Tracy DeGraff.
I'm still Catherine.
See you next time.
Bye.